December 1st, 1948, a quiet morning on Somerton Beach, Adelaide. A local man walking his dog makes a discovery that would haunt Australian history for over 70 years. Propped against a sea wall, legs outstretched, is a man in his mid-40s. He is impeccably dressed in a high-quality tailor-made suit. His shoes are polished. He looks for all the world like he's simply taking a nap. But he isn't sleeping. When the police arrive, they find something that defies logic. There is no identification, no wallet, no cards. But more strangely, every single manufacturer's label has been surgically removed from his clothing. No laundry marks, no receipts. His dental records match no one in the country. He has died of a cause that leaves no trace, yet he shows signs of internal hemorrhaging. It's a clean death, a professional death, and it's the birth of the greatest cold case in the Southern Hemisphere. Let's look at the evidence. The police are forced to treat him as a John Doe. They start an exhaustive search, circulating photos of his face in newspapers worldwide. Thousands of tips pour in, yet none hold water. He is a ghost. Then they examine his pockets. Among the mundane items, a comb, an unused rail ticket from Adelaide to Henley Beach, they find something peculiar, a small scrap of paper torn from a book. It's barely larger than a postage stamp. On it, 2 words are typed in a classic ornate font, Tamam Shud. Translated from Persian, it means, "It is ended." The hunt for the source of this scrap becomes an obsession. Detectives scour the city until they find the exact copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam that the scrap was torn from. It was found thrown into the back of a car parked near the beach where the man was found. But when they open the book, the mystery only deepens. Inside the back cover of that book, written in faint pencil, is a sequence of letters. 5 lines of them, some are crossed out. It looks like a code, a cipher. This isn't just a scribble. It looks deliberate. It looks like intelligence. Code breakers from Australia's military and even international agencies spend decades trying to decipher those letters. Is it a list of names? A set of coordinates for a dead drop? A message to a sleeper agent? Even with modern supercomputers and advanced cryptographic algorithms, the text remains impenetrable. It is a sequence of characters that defies linguistic patterns. It is, quite possibly, the most secure, or perhaps the most nonsensical code in history. Why does this feel like a movie? Because Adelaide in 1948 was far from a quiet town. It sat on the edge of the Woomera Prohibited Area, a massive top-secret rocket testing range, often referred to as the Rocket Range. During the early Cold War, spies were supposedly everywhere, funneling technology and secrets out of Australia. Could the Somerton man be a Soviet operative who was burned by his handlers? The lack of labels in his clothes is a hallmark of someone trying to avoid identification. His physical fitness, what the autopsy called well-built, suggests a life of training. Did he meet a contact at the beach? Was he poisoned with a substance that was undetectable by 1948 technology, something that simply evaporated from his system? We analyse the timeline of the Cold War and show you why so many investigators were convinced this wasn't a suicide, but a state-sanctioned assassination. For 73 years, the man had no name. He was a face on a police file. But in 2021, under the direction of researcher Dr. Derek Abbott and Colleen Fitzpatrick, a team of genealogists performed a molecular autopsy. They took a sample of hair strands still preserved in a box of evidence. They performed whole genome sequencing. They mapped his DNA against millions of records in commercial databases. And finally, in 2022, they got a match. His name was Carl Webb. He was a 43-year-old electrical engineer and instrument maker from Melbourne. He had a family, he had a life, he had simply walked away. But here is where the documentary gut punch comes in. While we now have a name, we have more questions. Why would an engineer with a family disappear? Why were his clothes stripped of their tags? Was his presence in Adelaide a coincidence? Or was he involved in something much larger than he could handle? We have successfully identified the man. We have peeled back the layers of decades of forensic failure to reveal that he was Carl Webb. But identifying him has actually deepened the mystery, rather than resolving it. If Carl Webb was simply a man who walked away from his life, why the missing clothing labels? Why the connection to the Rubaiyat? And most importantly, the cipher, the most baffling element of the entire case, remains completely unsolved. The experts now suspect that the code might have been a complete red herring, or perhaps a private correspondence that died with him. By solving the who, we've been forced to confront the chilling possibility that the why might be far more mundane or far more dangerous than we ever dared to imagine. The truth of Somerton Beach isn't just a matter of science anymore, it's a matter of motive. But I want to know what you think. Is the identity of Carl Webb the final chapter, or is there still a piece of the puzzle missing? Does the code point to a Cold War spy ring, or was it just a tragic coincidence? Drop your best theory in the comments. I'll be reading them all. And if you want to see us dive into the next unsolved historical code, make sure to subscribe.